Today's podcast episode is sponsored by one of our favorite real estate agents, Victoria Calabro of Century 21 Shoreline Properties. If you're looking for a home, she is the agent to call, 401-639-1637. Hey guys, Practical Bizz. This is Erica Sacosio, your host. And today I am joined with our guest, Lindsey Ramirez. We are going to talk about the power of women-led businesses. But before we jump into that, we would love for you to subscribe, hit the button in the corner, subscribe. If you love the content in our video today, please put a comment below. We would love to hear from you. So Lindsey, welcome to our show.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
So I know Lindsey from the Center for Women in Enterprise, which is a fantastic nonprofit organization for those of you who don't know or don't have a CWE, as we call it, in your neck of the woods. And they are somewhat sponsored by the Small Business Administration. So CWE provides lots of different services, and I'll let Lindsey talk about that a little bit as we get into the show, but primarily focuses on helping support women start their businesses or expand or grow their businesses. I know a great deal about CWE because I was one of their clients, and I graduated many, many moons ago through the Power Up program, which I thought was amazing. That was where I put my business plan together, and I'm always hopping on my business clients as I coach them, like, where's your business plan? So although the business plan isn't always what truly happens in real life, I had a very concrete plan, and so very thankful and want to pay it forward to the CWE community. I think there are some really amazing businesses that have branched out of that organization, which I'm sure you will share a little bit with us today. So Lindsey, tell us a little bit about yourself and your connection with CWE.
Thanks, Erica. First of all, super excited to be here, and thank you for having me. This is an awesome podcast, and what you do, just sharing wisdom and tips for businesses, that's amazing. And so thank you.
Thank you.
I think this is a great opportunity to do that. So CWE, what we do, and who am I, how I got involved. So my background is in tech and technology and education. So I was teaching English in Japan and Bangkok and several other countries. And I also got into technology. I learned how to code and was a software developer for quite a few years.
Wait, Lindsey, you glanced over that like that was nothing. Oh, no, I just was in all these different places all around the world. And while I was doing that, I was coding. You just made that like it was like putting on shoes. So you're pretty incredible in your own right.
Well, thank you. Yeah, thanks. And so, I went around the world, and now I'm back in Rhode Island, and I'm from Rhode Island. And I'm in this organization. I was a program manager, and I've been part of the organization for almost a year. It's been 10 months. Transitioned into the interim director, and it's been an amazing journey. I feel it's so fulfilling and rewarding to help women grow their businesses, start their businesses. And so let me go on to CWE. Yeah. It's the Rhode Island's only women's business center. And we're all about women starting and growing their businesses. And we do that by one-on-one consulting with experts. We do that by webinars. Some of them are pre-recorded. You've taught some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them are live. And
love the live. She knows I'm always on her. We can meet in person now. When are we going live?
and the networking events, the events that we have in person, we partner with other organizations. And so that gives other folks a chance to mingle and get to know one another, referrals. And so education is the meat of it with us. Sometimes there's a little bit of confusion because people think, oh, grants, where's the money? Do you guys have money? And so we don't directly give grants, but we'll give you a warm handoff. We'll guide you on where to find them or how to find them. So, it's amazing. Yes.
Yeah. So that's empowering for women. So Lindsey, in your own words, how would you define women empowerment? What does that mean?
Women empowerment, how would I define it myself?
Yeah.
I guess there's so many different ways, but in this moment, woman empowerment would be feeling good, just being yourself, being your true self, and not, no shame, no guilt, just being your honest, true self.
I think that is a great definition. I think when I think about women empowerment, I think maybe yours is very internal thinking, and rightfully so. I also think when I think women empowerment, I think maybe more external, like the opportunities that are available and the resources that are available, and how we as women come together collectively and raise each other up. But yes, and word certainly is very valued as well. And you're right, because women tend to shrink ourselves. We shrink ourselves a little bit. We apologize a lot for things that maybe necessarily a man in business would not apologize for. I think that women-owned businesses sometimes, this is my experience working with a lot of female business owners, they undervalue their service, they undercut their own prices. And like, somebody needs to be that voice of reason of, no, this is what the market is, whether you're a man or a woman. If you provide a great service, don't be afraid to charge what you're worth, right? So I think, just, spreading that message, I think for me is one of the things that I really love to do, right? Is sometimes you have to be that mirror for your friends. Like,
and show like those boundaries, because it's like, and women too, they get a lot. I mean, I can speak for myself, a lot of people pleasing. You want to follow the rules and whatnot, but you're not really being yourself. It's stepping outside of all of that, which, takes a different mindset.
Yeah. So can you talk, and I don't know if you know the answer, I'm hoping that you do, and if not, then we'll find out. But so tell me a little bit about what being a women certified business means, and how is that valuable to a woman who owns a business?
A woman certified business, and what that means. And so it just means that 51% or more of your business is run by, like, the major decisions are made by a woman. And so that's what a woman-owned, technically, business means. And if, like, as far as certification and all of that goes, and why that's important, or why that would be important, because that opens you up to more opportunities to procurement contracts, like government contracts. You have exposure to contracts with corporations that need to fulfill a requirement and need to hire women-owned businesses.
Are you guys taking notes here? Because that's really important for those of you who are looking for larger partnerships.
Yeah, right? You shop at Target. You can sell your product at Target if you get certified as a woman-owned business, and then advertise to them. So those are a couple of the opportunities available.
Great.
Yeah.
And are there courses at CWE to become a women certified business?
Yeah. So thanks for mentioning that. We have a ton of webinars and a certification team that will help you and walk you through it. Okay. There's particular seminars that walk you through what it really means, down to like just the stats, the docs, and all of that. Yep. And what it takes, what are the benefits. And so, pre-recorded stuff, and so also live webinars where you can ask questions.
And that would be something that program or service is available throughout the country, I would imagine.
Yeah, nationwide.
Yeah. So that's nationwide. So even if you're not in Rhode Island or New England and you don't have a CWE, find out who does have that program in your neck of the woods to make sure that you have access to that. Again, it's an extra layer of support, an extra layer of collaborations that can drive revenue into your business, and then also help build your brand through a network of people, right?
Yeah, definitely.
So the other thing that I have found is that women-owned and operated businesses actually generate more revenue than men-led. Did you know that?
I didn't know that specifics.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I did look up some stats and some research before our podcast today. And some of that they attributed to these top 6 things. Women are more creative. They are better with staff retention, which also usually means that your talent stays longer. They're good at boosting collaboration. They create positive work environments, which equal happy employees. And they also value work-life balance. And so, therefore, especially in today's economy, we have heard many people in the workforce, men, women, and everyone in between, have really said that from the rooftops. Like, we value things other than money at this point in our lives, right? After the pandemic, we all had a total mind shift about what was important. And it wasn't just money, and it wasn't to stay at one place forever. And so I think, that whole, we have just shifted as a culture around what was important. So I thought that was interesting. And 48.6% of the workforce are made up of women, and 40.5% of business owners are women. So we're almost at that 50-50 mark, which is incredible. Yeah. Thinking about just, we can clap for that. So that's amazing. Yeah. Amazing. Like, I've been in business for myself about 16 years. And I would say I've been just in my industry, which is very women-led, because childcare is typically very women-led. But just seeing the dynamics of how many women are starting their own businesses, even just in the short span that I've been in the world of entrepreneurs. 25 is not really a lot of years to be, in one space. But I've seen a huge change, even with like the moms that come in. They're not like going to jobs for other people. They're going to their place. They're going to be their own CEO. And I think that that is really exciting. Yeah. So,
it is. Oh my God. Women from all walks of life are just, doing the same thing. I was going to say, I wanted to mention it reminds me of the group of the in-person support group that we have, that you've been to. And so we have a support group, meets once a month, every Thursday, the third Thursday of every month. And we just join around a table and we talk and we vent and we talk about our business journeys. And it's incredible to me because there's all different levels. So one of the people that joined, I don't know if you were there that day, but she's on our advisory boards. She's Yemi Sakoni, and she runs and owns a modeling agency here in Rhode Island.
Cool.
Does a bunch of events, and there's seasoned professionals, maybe teachers that want to turn into entrepreneurship. There's students from Brown, wanting to. There's an immigrant who just moved here. So it's like there's this.
Rhode Island is even though it's a small state, we are super, super powerful, and I mean we have the best schools here. I mean we have like just great resources here in that way for sure. Yeah. So I mean, even though we were ranked low on places to start a business, the resources here are amazing. So if anybody who has a will, there's a way in Rhode Island. For sure, right?
You got a dream?
Yeah.
It can happen. Yes.
So that takes mindset. So that'll segue us into, you have to have the right mindset. So Lindsey, talk a little bit about mindset and what you think about that.
So mindset is really important, especially for entrepreneurs, for people who are starting their businesses, just because a lot of the times, I mean, we were talking about this before, Erica, it's hard. It's a shift. You have to program yourself in a different way. And a lot of the times you hit yourself, you come with friction. And so, I mean, I guess based on the clients who I've talked to, a chunk of them, a lot of the times they're not immediately around folks that are doing the same thing too. So that adds another layer of like being insecure, like, what am I actually doing?
Yeah. And then sometimes those people who are your friends and family try to talk you out of it. Because they're very comfortable with how the relationships are now. They're very comfortable with you being home at 5 and making dinner, or they're very comfortable with you being equal in the pay scale. You know what I mean? So there's a lot of reasons why the people you think would be your biggest supporters don't end up being your biggest supporters. And sometimes it's people you just met that really help you make that progression.
That, yeah, exactly. So I that, and then a lot of the times it takes things that you don't know how to do.
Yeah.
And so when you're faced with that, it's like, well, am I smart enough to do this? Am I like, well, I'm not with this, that,
Yeah.
and so you face a lot of that. And so mindset is something you constantly have to come back to as an entrepreneur and like make sure it's fine tuned, just because it's going to make a difference whether you actually launch your business.
Yeah, I think too, sometimes running a business is you feel like you're playing dodgeball because, like you said, so many things coming at you all at once. Your, daily operations and staffing and regulations and taxes and all the pieces that it takes. And sometimes you do need help, right? And that's why there are places like CWE or Stellar Business Concepts or the plethora of other business support agencies out there because they are needed. And so if you're not tapping into one of them, you're really doing yourself a disservice because you don't know everything. There's always going to be somebody who knows more or changes your perspective on how to do something that will help you maybe maximize some of your efforts that are not being capitalized right now.
Yeah, exactly. It takes some like internal talk too, and I know one of the affirmations that I use is like, why not me? Why not me? Why? What's that? It takes a lot of, and now I'm thinking also like when it comes to starting a business, no matter what, no matter where, like inclusivity wise, a lot of these kind of programs, like let's say that are run by the state or whatnot, you'll think, oh, maybe they're for a particular population, but this is not just for like, let's say one type of person. It's like, okay, you could be a minority, you could be an immigrant, you could be someone who has the money, but just you're overwhelmed and you need guidance. You could be someone also who is incarcerated because we have a prison program that is a series and it's business development. 90-something% of folks don't go back or do much better once they complete that series. And so, disabled, whatever. I just think it's so cool that you can be in any place and like start with what you have.
For sure. So Lindsey, not only do you run a part of CWE, but you're also an entrepreneur yourself. So talk a little bit about that journey.
Well, I learned how to code when I was in Japan, like in Barcelona, and I created a travel buddy app, and it's been an up and down journey for me. And like, I mean, I'm learning like every other entrepreneur. But yeah, so that's the app I'm still working on, and it's taking me a while, but I'm super passionate about it. And I'm grateful to be in this position because I get to learn, and while also applying things to my own journey. So that's one of the main things. And I also run an e-commerce store with one of my friends who makes candles in Mozambique, Africa.
Awesome. Yeah. Wow. So you definitely have a wealth of knowledge of how things work, not only here, but outside of this country here. So talk a little bit about the online space, because a lot of people are doing business online because, well, it's effective. It's definitely has lower overhead than a brick and mortar, a lot less liability. So talk a little bit about that. Like maybe if you had somebody who was thinking of doing online, maybe what would be your best couple tips on what they should consider before going on?
Okay, thanks. So website technology, whether you like it or not, it's like, it's a thing.
It's reality.
Yeah. It's the normal that is, infused with our lives now. And I think it's so important you don't have to be all over social media or all over Instagram or Facebook or post every single day, but at least have some sort of presence where you can point to it and say, find me here, contact me here.
Yes.
Because you're not always going to be available on the phone or maybe, whatever other way in person. But I think it's so important to at least have a site. And there's so many platforms where you can do that and not spend much money.
Yeah.
So I would totally recommend, no matter what your business is, have a presence online. And as far as, just like how important it is, and how the fact that, we're losing a lot of physical locations because online has been such a thing.
Yeah.
I think that also, sad for maybe some of these stores, but it makes starting a business kind of easier.
Yeah, it definitely opens it up to a lot more people. I think the other thing too, especially someone like you who's been to so many places, it doesn't restrict you to your region. And if you have like a great website where people can go on and purchase, you could be selling things while you're sleeping. Like you said, like you may not always be available. Well, if you're in a whole different time zone, you're typically traditionally your brick and mortar store, you would only purchase things during your operating hours, where now you're open 24/7, essentially, if you have a great website where you can purchase product or services through.
Yeah. And if you have a niche, if you are obsessed with this one thing, like creating cat video, like cat pictures, this, that, you are going to find, it might not be Rhode Island, but it might be some other place, some, people all over that will be crazy about your pictures or your product. So that's another like faucet. I think it's super important.
I laugh, Lindsay, because the other day I was watching YouTube with my daughter, and I was saying how hard it is to start a YouTube channel and how hard it is to get viewers and all of that. And I said, I'm not going to worry about it anymore. And I went, look, even this cat has more views than me. The cat had like 500,000 views. I'm like, the cat literally was just going, meow. I'm like, I give, that was when I realized I'm not competing with the cat. I don't care how many views or followers we get. If you love our content, please like and subscribe. If not, then to pop it in. But you really could drive yourself crazy, with that. But you're right, like niching yourself down to what are you really, really great at, and really focus on that and go all in on that, and you'll be successful, because the success is maybe not the monetary or the views or all that, but the success is doing 100% of what you love at your full capacity with everything you got in your heart, your mind, your soul, your body, all of it. And so people love it or not love it. It's okay, right? As long as you're doing it for the reasons that drive you, then I think it's good.
Yeah, boils down to doing what you want to do. Like freedom.
Magic.
Yes. Maybe making some money at it too.
Yeah. So I think you will. I think anybody who does what they're really great at and really love, and they're consistent with it, and they follow good business practice, you can't really fail.
And that's,
I hate to say that, but you really can't.
You can't, right? You know what? Consistency. And actually that's one thing that like mindset wise is super important starting a business. Like just scheduling maybe 30 minutes, 10 minutes, like starting off small and then maybe, gradually increasing, but just a little bit on your business each day, just a little bit, because it makes a difference.
Yeah.
And it keeps you on track. I can't preach that enough, because it's so easy to get lost in other things or tasks for other folks.
And I love that you brought that up, because I was going to say, when people have a business for a while and they say, oh, business is sliding off. And you have to almost say, is business sliding off, or are you sliding off? Are you working as hard as and as focused as, in the same level of intensity as when you first started, because you had to make it, as you are 5 years in? Because I feel like that sometimes the shininess has worn off, because being an entrepreneur is hard as beep. Right?
Yeah, no.
And so sometimes that shininess goes away. And so if you find that your business is slacking or not doing as well as it did when you first started, be self-reflective and take a look at, am I doing everything that I was doing? Am I paying attention to my customers or my employees the way it was at the beginning? Or did the whole industry change and everybody pivoted and I didn't? I stayed stuck in my old ways, right? Because it's usually very easily tracked back to that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, asking yourself those questions is important.
Yeah. So what other things are going on at CWE or in your business that you would like to share that we didn't cover?
Well, this month we haven't had the support group yet, and it's going to be on the 16th. So for anyone who wants to come do an in-person, sit around the table with us and just hang out, come by. It starts at 11. And you can find us, I'll give you the website, I guess, towards the end.
Yeah.
And so what else? We have a bunch of finance-related workshops and like money-related workshops coming up next week and the following weeks this February. And we are going to partner with another organization for Black History events, networking things. So I would recommend folks to sign up for our newsletter just so they can
keep updated with what's going on. Yeah. And who knows, when you listen to the podcast, it could be 3 months from now. So that, go on their website, especially if you are New England. There are several CWEs throughout New England. Get on their mailing list and you can find out what's going on. Some of the CWEs share workshops. Some are individually specific for your area. I truly am also doing one on Valentine's Day for customer retention. So if that is something that you feel like you're struggling with, definitely go to CWE and sign up for the 8 tips on customer retention for sure.
Yes. Yeah. Please register.
Yeah. So is there anything you want to add or leave before we wrap up today?
What would I wrap up with? Probably should have thought about this.
That's okay. That's okay. So maybe your best tip, that maybe if you're sitting around the table, as you so frequently do with amazing women, maybe what would one last tip be for somebody who maybe is on the fence of starting a business? What should they do? What should be their first step? What would that guidance look like?
Well, okay. First step, it depends on who you are. But I feel like I'm coming back to the affirmation I was telling you before, asking yourself, and not asking yourself, but telling yourself, why not you?
Yeah.
And not to think small. If you're visualizing it, if you're thinking about it in your head, it's because there's a way to make that a reality.
Yeah.
And so why not you?
Yeah. And I'm going to add to your why not you. Mm-hmm. Why not you? And if not now, when?
Exactly.
Not now, when? Right? Yes. So if you've been thinking about it for a long time, we're here to tell you today to get moving. Get going. Let's get it happening. If you need help or support, connect with CWE, connect with Stellar Business Concepts, connect with your local SBA or whatever resources you have in your area. I'm going to give Lindsey a second to give you the contact info for CWE. Let the folks know.
You can find me at cweonline.org. That's our website. Go to the Rhode Island branch, or you can email me directly at cweonline.org as well. And yeah, you can also sign up to our e-center through our website.
Yeah. And give them a little Facebook love. They work really hard on their Facebook page. Give them a little love on the social media. It doesn't hurt to support those who support you. Thank you so much. Have a good night. Don't forget to subscribe.
Thank you. Bye.
Are you a business owner? Are ready to get your startup? Well, started. Have a burning question you'd like us to answer? Want to know more about the services we offer? Or register for upcoming workshops and events? Looking to book a guest speaker? Or like to be a guest on the Practical Biz podcast? Visit our website at stellarbusinessconcepts.com.